This is the continuing part of the of Darren's interaction with Kurdra and Era Sales. Eventually they found themselves in the main sparring arena. Kurdra explained to Darren that vampires like sparring and fighting and playing games with each other. It is designed to test their skills and strengths against each other. Darren noticed that there was all kinds of activities going on, like they were playing football, tennis, American football, netball, basketball, hockey, baseball, and so on. And the vampires were also sparring with each other, like boxing, fencing, judo, martial arts, karate, taekwondo, kickboxing, and so on. Darren asked Kurdra, why do lots of sports involve weapons of some description? Kurdra replied, lots of vampires live in and amongst the human world, so when the human world goes to war, we can help them out. But we do not tell them who we really are. They would not understand it. Trust me. Kurdra also explained that one of his hobbies is to build maps to get around the tunnels easier. It's just a hobby that I've been doing for a long time. I've got to plan routes and easy ways to get around. It's becoming very useful. Darren nodded. Darren then said, why are you being so nice and informative to me? Kurdra replied, quite shocked. I like you, Darren. I see great potential in you, even if no one else sees it. Besides, I trust Latin's methods and tactics. There are not many vampires who are as respected as Latin, and he rarely makes a mistake. Darren said, you did not mind me asking you, did you? No, it is good to be inquisitive at times. It helps build confidence. They had wound up in a competitive sports arena. They were watching a wooden staff sparring match with a female vampire and big male vampire. The male vampire was big, but he looked a bit clumsy. The female vampire was dressed in a white sleeveless shirt and beige trousers. She had long dark hair tied behind her neck. She made quick work of the opponent she was sparring with. She put her staff and made a quick sweep of his legs, and bang, down he went. The guy on the floor said, thank you for the lesson, Era. I've learned a lot, then got up and slinked away into the crowd. They had been fighting on a crash mat. The woman got off the crash mat and picked up some water from a bottle and drank. Darren noticed that she was quite muscular for a woman. She looked over at Kurdra and Darren and said, well, if it isn't Kurdra Sumalt, still pushing pencils instead of weights, I see. It is good to see you, Era Sales, replied Kurdra. How are you? The woman came over to Darren and Kurdra with her staff. The woman came over to Darren and Kurdra with her staff in her right hand, and she said, can't complain. There are still no worthy competitors that can give me a good workout. Era shook Kurdra's hand and said, well, it is good to see you. It is good to see that you are still well. Era said, Era shook Kurdra's hand and said, well, it is good to see that you are still well. Kurdra, what is it, Kurdra? It's good to see that you are still well. Era said, what is it like being popular? Darren was feeling left out, so he stuck out his hand for Era to shake it. She paused and looked at Darren's hand. Kurdra said, Darren, Era doesn't shake the hand of anyone she hasn't sparred or fought with and gained her respect. Darren said, I will spar with you. Darren was thinking, it's just a woman. How hard could it be to beat a woman? She said, no, I don't fight featherweights, boy. Okay, if you're too scared to spar with a half vampire, so be it. Okay, let's go then. I'm going to beat you around, you cocky little urchin, said Era crossly. She returned to the mat, and so did Darren. But before following her onto the mat, kurdra asked Darren, Darren, are you sure about this? Yes, I'm sure, said Darren. He took off his shoes. Of course I'm sure. How hard will it be to beat a girl? Said Darren. Kurdra said under his breath as Darren walked away. If I had £1 for every vampire who had said that about Era's sales, I would be a millionaire. Era said the object is to knock your opponent to the floor by only using the staff. Simple, okay? Okay, said Darren. They both lifted up their staffs into a fighting position. Era said, go. Darren walked towards her confidently, and she put the staff behind his legs and swept his feet. Bang! Darren went down. Darren was angry and said, I was not ready. Era replies, battle does not wait for anyone to be ready. Darren says, while getting to his feet, we were sparring, it's not a battle. Let's go again, says Darren, arming himself with the staff. Era did the same and said go, and this time Darren came over wisely with his staff, trying to jab Era at any cost. Era kept blocking and countering Darren's blows. Darren got frustrated and took a massive swing at her, so he was now unprotected at his knees. She sent the staff flying into the back of Darren's knees, and he went down again. Darren looked up. We shall go again. I'm just warming up. Darren got back to his feet and prepared himself with his staff again, and said, go. Era half smiled and threw a few swings at Darren. Darren blocked some of the blows, but lots of them connected with his chest and collarbone. Era said, there's a lot of bravery within you, small fry. My name is Darren, said Darren. The sparring match was going quite well. Era leaned back. Darren thought he had hurt Era and went to sweep her legs. He thought he had her, but Era sent the end of her staff up into Darren's jaw. Everything went black. Darren woke up after a few minutes. Kurdra was in front of him. Darren, you okay? Please say something, he was saying. Darren said, opening his eyes, what happened? You challenged one of the greatest female vampire warriors there is, Kurdra said. Darren started to get up and said, let's go again. What will it take for you to stay down? Darren replied, I will stay down once I learn your respect, Era says, and you shake my hand. Era smiled and said, and now you have it. And she helped Darren to his feet and reached out her hand for Darren to shake it. Darren said, holding his jaw, what's good for a broken jaw? Rest and relaxation, smiled Era. Darren would later learn that Era Sales is Mr. Krebs' sister. End scene.